Hey guys, welcome to Open Mic Night. I know it's daylight. It's night somewhere in the whole entire world. But thank you ever so much for the 12 subscribers I've gained since being short space of time on this very channel where I talk about professional wrestling, and you know full well I enjoy talking about professional wrestling. I could live and breathe and talk professional wrestling till the cows come home. Well, I'm old school when I come out with that saying, don't I? But what I want to say to you guys is that I don't know why, but when I watched this Smackdown, I felt like it delivered more than Monday Night Raw does at the moment. And that is weird to say, because I look at the way certain things and certain aspects in the wrestling world. Yeah, fair enough, different companies and all that lot. But for SmackDown to try as much as they are trying, but it's an overkill sometimes. But then when I look at the likes of what they've been doing recently on SmackDown, I quite enjoyed. Not fully enjoyed, but quite enjoyed. You know? I loved how they sort of done certain things like what actually happened last night on SmackDown. But you're building up a pay-per-view, granted. You actually had LA Knight, Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa in a tag team match. Damian Priest and LA Knight got the victory of that, but then after the match, you got Drew McIntyre attacking the champion at the end of that match. But that's what I mean. It's like when I look at that match, it was okay, a good opener, don't get me wrong, to get people behind it and all that lot. But it is what it is. Then we actually had, this is one thing I really hate at the moment. You're overkilling tag team matches on your products, especially SmackDown. You are overkilling them, but you're not improving the tag team divisions. You know, neither if it's the women's tag teams, even if it's the males tag teams. End of the day, you're not improving anything. You're just saving face sort of thing towards obviously certain things that you want to go off on your product. And it's a prime example of what I've actually seen like last night and like last week. You look at this one, prime example, right? Chelsea Green and Paper Nevin. Oh, because Saudi Vega wants a tag team match between two people, even though Nick Aldis technically didn't make the match, but he did make the match official on the night with a mystery partner, Alexa Bliss. Now, it's good to see Alexa Bliss back, but what's that got to do with anything going forward with this? You know, you're bringing relevance to the mid-card titles in the women's. I'll give you credit where it is. But what's the relevancy? Nothing. Absolute nothing. Because in them two matches, you could have easily put something to elevate the tag team division on SmackDown, if any. But you did later on the show, which I'll get onto in due course. Then you had Charlotte Flair coming out, even though she was coming out of an Uber or chauffeur-driven car and everything like that in the past, right? Earlier on in the show, not the past. But you had Charlotte Flair cutting a promo and then being like a crybaby, storming off because she weren't happy the way the crowd were reacting to her. At least one thing, Jade Cargill came out and saying she's not relevant anymore. In a way, I'm glad that, because they're teasing a match between them two. I wanted that at WrestleMania. I'll be honest with you. I would have preferred that towards a build towards WrestleMania. You know, Charlotte Flair, yeah, fair enough, comes back in injury. Gets kicked out by the Rumble by Jade Cargill. And you built that from that moment onwards. Then what we got at WrestleMania between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte. You know. But then you look at the way that actually happened, then all of a sudden you materialised into the number one contendership with Jade Cargill coming out. Then obviously she's waiting for her opponent, now Nia Jax, for number one contender for the women's title. I wanted Jade Cargill to win that because of the moment, the way she interacted with Charlotte. It would have made perfect more sense than what we got. We got Nia Jax with victory. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax at all. Why are you giving us a shit match between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax? I'm not being funny. The size of Tiffany Stratton to the size of, let's just say, Nia Jax. And I'm not being horrible, but I'm being honest. That's why I couldn't invest technically in Alyssa Bliss back in the day when she was doing it full time, being champion. I couldn't buy into it, you know, because how I'm not disrespecting Alyssa Bliss before anyone thinks it. It's just because of the way she's been portrayed. You know, it's just such a mismatch, and it's the same carbon copy of that sort of scenario with Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. Yes, they've got history, but that history is shite. Being honest with you, that history is absolutely shite. It was one of the worst storylines I saw last year, and why you still continue it on in 2025 is beyond me. But and all that, and then you literally pretty much when Charlotte stormed off after her promo, I forgot to mention about this bit. Nick Aldis says you can't always moan if the crowd wants and everything. She's trying to get back in her chauffeur-driven car, and Alyssa Bliss comes out. I'm not being funny. When did Alyssa Bliss have a chauffeur-driven car? The same car that Charlotte Flair arrived in, if I recall. It could be a different one, but it's an all blacked-out car. Are you forming a faction right there? It seems like even after this women's tag team match, obviously Naomi did attack. Wow. Naomi attacked someone. Did she punch any in midair? Camera didn't pick that up for once. But it seems like they are doing a female bloodline. It just seems that way. If they actually do that and give some relevancy towards obviously the women's division, having a faction, it's been long overdue, other than just obviously Chelsea Green, Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray. I'm not saying a freaking WWE name. I know it's Kaylee Ray, goddammit. It's same with Piper. I should call her Viper, but can't because of Randy Orton. Then we have Fraction versus the Street Profits out of the blue. When they said about coming from NXT, what Shawn Michaels has said to Fraction, like, take every opportunity that's given them. And then Street Profits won that match. Didn't win that match. You could have easily put the titles on the line. But the problem is where it lies, where it comes to the likes of Street Profits, which I didn't like. Did anyone notice it? WrestleMania's been near enough 2 weeks away, maybe 3 weeks ago. Sorry, not away. I'm buzzing up on my own, not script, my own mind. But did anyone notice where this says last week we got injured in the TLC match? It wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. And why they're hyping it up like their injuries have been still sore by now, when we've seen other tag teams in the past have a match 2 weeks ago and then they're perfectly fine. You know, yes, I know it was a sensational match. But it frustrates me when I see that, because you don't know your own shit. You know, I know it's not me being a nitpicking sod. It's just me being honest with you. I just didn't like how that was portrayed and pulled off, because it literally made no zero sense. But it seemed like if they're going to take every opportunity they could have done, you know what would have made it even more exciting? To elevate the tag team division, even though you've already started to elevate it. With obviously both tag teams that are actually in this match. Was actually a freaking good match, don't get me wrong. You should have put the titles on the line. You know? WWE at the moment's got bad habits putting titles on the line with no build and no storyline towards it. Hey, what's to say about these two? You know? And then you literally had the likes of Machine Guns. Praising Praxium for their performance against the tag team champions, and saying you just remind you of us. I'm not that sort of passing the torch, granted. You know, like talking to them, but isn't needed. It would have been so much better if you put Fraction in the titles on them, not making it a non-title match. You know, it would have shocked the world. It would have got people talking positive. But it was a fucking good match. I really enjoyed that. Then Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. Aleister Black with the victory. Let's just say that match, when I said take my money last week, I regret saying that. Because you could have built this towards SummerSlam. You just threw away an opportunity. Right? Carmelo Hayes is one of those guys, is a yes man. You can literally tell. He'll do anything for the business. He'll do anything for the fans. But you got to think. I respect Aleister Black. I've known him for ages. I respect what he stands for. But, okay, you've actually had the feud with The Miz when you first came back. You've had him face Carmelo Hayes. Where the fuck are you going to go with this storyline now? You know, you've just literally wasted opportunity. And then we actually had technically the main event, Andrade and Rey Fenix versus Las Garza. Rey Fenix and Andrade got the victory. It's quite funny, like I mentioned last week. You don't see Charlotte Flair anytime when Andrade is on the bill. Or you don't see her anywhere near him. Why do you think they put the card the way they did? So now you're literally trying to build Worlds Collide. This was the main event of the night. I feel like it was a good show, but it felt like an exhibition house show. More than ever. Then after that, we literally had the likes of John Cena come out. Doing his usual shtick at the moment with another t-shirt that's in grey this time. Ugh. Horrible colour. Building towards his match versus Randy Orton. He's chatting his shit as he normally does. And then you've got like Randy Orton going to attack him. Oh, wait a minute. It's a duplicate Randy Orton. It's Timu Randy. Like we didn't see that coming. He tricks John Cena. We didn't see that coming, did we? Then Randy Orton gives him the RKO. And he's on the floor. People wanted John Cena as a heel, right? We're getting him as a heel, right? But it's been shit. Absolutely shit. And the one thing is, I'm thinking Randy Orton's turning heel tonight. Obviously, hopefully I get to do live broadcast on TikTok. Go check me out on there with my watch along. Hopefully I've guests come on. You're more than welcome to join me there. But I just want to point out one thing. The reason why I'm thinking Randy Orton's probably turning heel as well is because the way the poster design is. You look at the way the same sort of design what they did for Elimination Chamber. And I'm not being funny. All the faces that I once admired to a point, the old school ones, have been terrible as heels. Orton has only been the decent one in the past. But it's frustrating me. At the moment, it's really frustrating me. You think you can churn out, like I said, it felt like loads of exhibition matches. There's no matches that mean nothing. It's just like, it just flows after tag team match after tag team match. With a little bit of storyline. Little bit. Towards Backlash. Just a little bit. This is probably, I'll be honest with you. If Backlash is going to be meh, the build-up to this has been meh. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it's not the wrestlers. I keep stressing this. If you want people to invest into buying tickets at the prices you are fucking charging in this day and age, you need to fucking stop this. You know, and people say to me, "What you expect is WWE." End of the day, I want better things and entities towards WWE to make me want to, not say not want to watch, but want to invest. You know, the amount they're charging for merchandise, the amount they're charging for tickets, etc., etc., etc. Why do you think I haven't bought a wrestling shirt in a long time from the WWE? Why do you think I've not bought a cap or anything, or a hoodie? As you know full well, if you know me by now, I love my hoodies. Why do you think Karrion Kross is selling a lot of merch and he's not even had one match in 2025, if I recall? Well, I could be wrong. But I'm intrigued to see what they're actually doing with him. I've already done a special video on that. So, please check that out. But anyway, guys, I'm off. Hopefully give you my thoughts on awards Backlash very, very soon. Obviously, in due course, hopefully doing a prediction video for Double or Nothing in a couple of weeks. Hopefully doing that. I was going to do one for Backlash, but I've got no energy for it.